Yo, what is good, guys? It's your boy Gamers Goon here today with the NXT review for the May 31st edition of NXT. They had a new set of tapings last night, so that is going to be interesting. One thing I'm going to touch on before I start this video, Bobby Roode wasn't on NXT as promoted tonight, so you could probably see him in the next upcoming weeks on one of the NXT shots. So the show opened off here with Tommaso Ciampa coming out on crutches. We know his injury actually is real and that he might be sent to Birmingham already. So Tommaso Ciampa said he wanted to take a moment and talk and explain to Gargano why he did what he did. So he asked Gargano to come out, and then he was like, oh yeah, oh right, you're not here. Do you guys want to replace Johnny Gargano? Is what he asked us. And then he went on to tell us that he's learned more in the last 2 weeks than he has in his entire life. He talked about how he got injured the Thursday before TakeOver, and how he still went through with TakeOver for the people. And then the people were already replacing Ciampa with dream partners for Johnny Gargano. And then Ciampa said he wasn't going to let himself be an afterthought. And then he said he took a fall in TakeOver Chicago. And it hurt his knee. He knew it just wasn't hurt. He knew this was actually an injury. But he said he had to keep fighting because he had to live the DIY out. He said that Johnny would have replaced him if he would have just gave up there and would have went into rehab already. He said, Johnny and the fans were going to give up on him and replace him. And then he said he wasn't going to let him become an afterthought. That's why he attacked Johnny Gargano. He blames Johnny and the fans. He didn't want to do it, apparently. But he said that TakeOver Chicago was Tommaso Ciampa's moment, not Johnny Gargano's. He wanted it to be DIY's moment, but as soon as he saw that he could have been replaced, He went on to say that Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are not replaceable, only the fans are. And then he said, when I come back, I'm going to be the most dangerous SOB out here. So this is an interesting play here. So it makes him want to seem respectful and try to lay all the blame on Johnny here, besides himself here. But on the other hand, it also could give them the heel heat. Now, if we get an angle where Gargano says, you know what, I wasn't going to replace you, and then Ciampa says, oh, you weren't, they could reunite technically, or possibly, hopefully. I mean, I really want to see DIY on the main roster. Next, we got Pete Dunne versus Danny Burch. The match started off with a bunch of early locks here, a lot of technical wrestling. And then about midway through here, it began to get a little more physical. Danny would have a headbutt, he would almost win. Dunne would then hit an axplex. Danny Burch would kick out. Burch would go on to hit Dunne with some punches and a clothesline. But then it didn't really do much to Dunne. Dunne would end up catching Burch slipping. He would suplex him into the turnbuckles, and he'd finish Burch off with the bitter end. So he beat Danny Burch here in a pretty good match. It's not a match I would have wanted to see on TakeOver, but it definitely could have had potential to be a match on a TakeOver event. After the match, Pete Dunne took to the mic, and he talked about how he beat Tyler Bate. He said since January he's watched some boy win the retain the championship on NXT every week. But he then went on to say the UK brand, sending out a threat to the entire brand, starts when Pete Dunne owns all. So that is a warning sign to all in Pete Dunne's path. Then we had an interview with the Velveteen Dream. And then he said, everything must be perfect. That's the only thing I got out of that entire promo. I didn't care about anything he said. The only thing that stuck out was everything must be perfect. And I don't know why he said that. I don't know why this interview was in the show. It didn't build for anything that I'm aware of right now, so that could have been left out. Andrade Cien Almas versus Cesar Bononi. Cien Almas was about winning 90% of the match here. Again, I don't know how they booked freaking Cien Almas to win a lot of this match here. Because if you look at Cesar Bononi, man, that guy's like 7 foot and like 2 feet taller than Cien Almas, and he's like more muscular than Cien Almas had. Like his right arm has more muscle than Cien Almas has in his entire body. So I don't know how they booked Almas to do so good here, but Almas was punishing Bononi in the corner, but then Cesar Bononi picks up a cheap win with the small package, so it makes both characters look weak here, because Cien Almas, really should have not been pinned so cheaply, or at least had a finish on him to make it look like he's somewhat stronger. That a finisher actually is the only thing that can take Almas out, but the small package worked here. Cesar Bononi, for his size, looked very weak. He was being punished by the very, very shorter and weaker Cien Almas here, and he had to pick up a cheap victory, so I didn't like that match too much. Hideo Itami, we gotta see his TakeOver Chicago Rampage, against Cassius Ohno. Then Cassius Ohno and Itami, in a camera segment that they had in the parking lot, they apologized to each other. They shook hands. So don't expect them to have a feud coming up soon, or at least for the moment. This is a match that stood out to me along with the Pete Dunne Danny Burch match here. Sanity versus Cassius Ohno and Roderick Strong. They booked Ohno pretty strong here. He had some good big kicks and big punches. But then Killian Dane would take out Cassius Ohno when the ref wasn't looking, so that was they were doing the cheap old sanity moves, basically. And then Roderick Strong would drop EY on the side of the apron here. And then Wolf's ring awareness was pretty good here. He was being pinned 1, 2. He gets the foot on the rope. So I liked that moment because it just looked like phenomenal. He looks like he actually practiced that. He's just like laying there and then just raises his foot up with no hesitation or anything. I liked that moment. Then we gotta see No Way Jose return. He took out Killian Dane so that Sanity couldn't have the number advantage on Ohno and Strong. This distracted Sanity for the brief moment, allowing Roddy and Ohno to get the victory. So, this edition of NXT was pretty good here, but also pretty bad. I'm going to give it a 5-star rating here. Now, I do like the angle that Ciampa went, saying that if Ciampa was going to be out, he was going to take Johnny Gargano out for longer. I do like the Pete Dunne and Danny Burch match. I said this could have been a TakeOver Chicago match, even though I don't want it to be. This match wouldn't have lived up to the hype of a TakeOver Chicago, or a TakeOver Brooklyn, or a TakeOver Dallas. I don't really want to see this match on a pay-per-view, but it very easily, these two could have put on an instant classic at a takeover. There was brief seconds where I thought these guys could actually do something. The Velveteen Dream segment, I didn't care for. I'm not too much into the Velveteen Dreams gimmick here, so that could be personal preference. I don't know if you guys like the Velveteen Dream, or if that promo that basically did nothing for anybody besides saying everything's going to be perfect that they're going to use in some promo when he's fighting like Sanity or something, like completely irrelevant, and saying that the Velveteen Dream's world has to be perfect. The Cien Almas match didn't do anything for me. I already vented on my dislike for both the booking here and how Caesar Bononi here was very weak. I mean, you put frickin' Almas in with a guy twice his size, basically. How in the world is Caesar Bononi not going to beat him up? I don't care if Caesar Bononi is some local jobber, still. He was from the Performance Center, I'm just saying that. But the Atami segment, I don't like this at all, really. I was hoping Atami would have gone heel for the moment, and he would have had a match with Cassius Ohno at TakeOver Brooklyn. Doesn't seem like they're going to opt to go that option here, though. The Sanity, Ohno, and Strong match here, I already said that got the job done for me. I like that segment. I like the return of No Way Jose here. I do, however, think that we're going to have to see the same thing we saw at TakeOver Orlando. And I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see that at TakeOver Brooklyn. I don't want to see No Way Jose, Roderick Strong, and Cassius Ohno versus Sanity. If you can, please get Ohno and No Way Jose out of that situation. Roderick Strong can linger. I don't want to see Roderick Strong in the title picture yet. But I don't want to see No Way Jose messing around with Sanity. And I don't want to see Cassius Ohno, because I think Cassius Ohno could actually be a very, very good opponent for a guy like Drew McIntyre. Or a guy like an Aleister Black. Which, they both weren't on the show here tonight. They don't want to overbook these guys. I understand that. Just because of who they are. I mean, the spectacle of Aleister Black's entrance alone is crazy. I was there for it live. It was crazy. Aleister Black in the ring, he's crazy. So, I understand they don't want to overbook him here, but I really would have liked to see them try to build up for a Cassius Ohno versus either Aleister Black or Drew McIntyre. Because that's just a match I want to see on NXT TV coming soon. Thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy, Gamers Goon. Make sure you click that red subscribe button. Make sure you ring the bell. And make sure you click that thumbs up. It's been your boy. Thank you for watching. I got you with the Extreme Rules predictions tomorrow, which is Friday. And this Saturday, I have some news on the ratings. Now, you can look it up, but I also want to vent about the rating system here for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, because they broke record lows again. And it's not looking good for Monday Night Raw or USA TV here. Thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy. I'm out.